Hey! Check it out! It is UK Cowboys TV.
Check it out.
Season 2, episode 88. I'm getting a bit of feedback from someone, but never mind. Yes, it's episode 88. Check that out for an omen. Yeah, so there's a big omen. Also, it's the first show with me and Brian being together because we're always on opposite shows. So it's the first time we're together since the pre-season. And adding on to that, it is our first show with the man and the legend that sponsors UK Cowboys TV, Mr. Barry G. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, guys. Gosh, it's my privilege to be on here with the UK and Scotland superstars. This is awesome. Top of the morning, hey, I guess it's getting kind of late over there.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock, so it's beer time. We call it beer time. This is the beer hour.
Beer o'clock.
Beer 9 o'clock, yeah.
I'm on the Kool-Aid, so yeah. But yes, it is the Thanksgiving special. So we got both parts of the show, the post and the pregame show. We obviously have the owner of Cowboys Experience with us, which we will talk about in a moment. And we have two players, ex-players, SuperBowl players. We've been dropping hints all day, like little breadcrumbs of Cowboys player goodness, and we're happy to announce on the show Cowboys player goodness is Lincoln Coleman joining the show and the Shark Kenny Gant. So they will be joining the show later on as we continue through the show and talking. So make sure as well, guys, throughout the show, you send us your comments, give us your questions, and we'll continue on. Remember, this is the hottest show out of town. That's right. That's what we're going for. That's going to be the motto. Yeah, the hottest show out of town.
Yeah, Paul did it.
And Mike just disappeared.
Wonderful. And he's back.
Oh yeah,
there he is.
I'm switching about. Never mind. Yeah, this is still an echo brilliant. From last week. I had my internet.
Oh, we'll remember this. Get it screenshotted. He's gone.
Everyone in the comments, please screenshot it right now.
He's frozen. There he is.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Man.
Oh, there he is.
Sack him.
The big wheel.
Oh, there he is. Big wheel.
The big wheel.
There's Lloyd. He's on already.
Oh. Jamie, your audio again, mate.
Having all sorts of issues, but we'll try and get through it. But Barry, before we get any further into the show and I hand the show over to Brian to do the post-game show, just thought I'd get a few questions in about Cowboys Experience.
Sure.
So the first thing I wanted to ask is, being with everything that's happened in 2020, we're talking from end to end so far. What's it been like, just personally? You know, we'll talk about Cowboys Experience in a minute. How has it been for you, just generally?
Well, it's a disaster. But, like everybody else, it's one of those things. I think the most fortunate for me was I actually lost both my parents within 2 months of each other in 2020. So it's been business and the football season pretty much on and off, up and down, all over the place. So, that kind of puts a sticker on things just as well. But it's just you got to move on, and you go through these times, and it's going to happen to all of us at some point. We won't be here, so you got to you got to kind of keep getting up and take it to another level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But apart from that, though, everybody else is healthy, happy, fighting fit at the moment then.
Yeah, that's right now I've been fortunate. I have a little gym in my garage, so that helps out a lot, and trying to stay healthy and always try to work in that positive mindset. So that's what it's all about. I think a lot of it, I always say life's a mindset. Well, depending upon what you want to feed your mind with, it's that's the key to everything. So so you just keep it that way, But I got Carly's pregnant again, so I got grandson number 2 on the way. So life is good. 2021 will hopefully we'll start off in a great way anyway. So
hopefully in 2021 we can all fly over again as well.
Yeah, it's we miss y'all and I know a lot of the fans miss you and your outfits as well, Paul. So you're always a treat. You're always a treat to some of those fan favorites of yours.
Funnily enough, that was something we was talking about the other day. About trying to get over to see you and all get together and have a drink and generally hug it out.
Well, we were talking as well, and guys, especially Jamie and Paul, you've been over here, but Mike was saying waiting about 5 or 6 years to bring the family. So y'all are gonna have to kidnap him and bring him over with you, throw him in a suitcase, and tell him let's go.
Sweet, yeah.
It's not Mike we need to worry about. It's the wife we need to worry about in case she comes after us.
Yeah. Blinking heck, definitely. It's all right. I'm 5 minutes from the house. I can bag him and tag him and have him down the road. It's fine.
There you
Mike's
go.
going again.
I am, yeah.
All right, go.
Yeah, this is just like a complete echo from last week's issues, so I'll try and continue on with it. But let's get into Cowboys Experience then. Obviously, Barry, how's that been business-wise for you this year? Because obviously a lot of the business is predicated on public meetings, tailgate, stadium tours. So how have you managed this season? Have you been okay?
Yeah, out of area, I mean, we pretty much shut it down because, and the main reason, now they are still doing stadium tours, but the reason we did is, we've always prided ourselves on just giving an awesome experience and top notch. And we figured, as a company, that the only thing that could happen is something to go wrong, or they cancel something, or the new regulation comes out, or something. And so we thought instead of doing it, half, as what they say here, half whatever. We didn't want to jeopardize that or jeopardize our reputation. So we figured, we'll kind of regroup and put some tweaks into 2021 and move forward and make it bigger and better than ever. So.
I think Mike's gone.
Okay. I think he froze again for a minute.
I know.
I am still there. I'm just waiting for things to catch up. It's frustrating.
I've got a few issues in mine as well, so I might end up flicking back and forth, guys. The joys of live TV.
No, you're good now, Jamie.
Yeah. You can plan the perfect picnic, but not the weather, as they say.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, apart from that, I know obviously you can't delve too much into too much detail about 2021 plans for Cowboy Experience. But is there anything that you can tell us, or is there any sneaky tidbits that you've got lined up for next year for Cowboys Experience that people can look forward to?
Yeah, I think we're going to do two plans. I think we're going to do a plan with a season, if some of this continues, and then maybe a plan without. And you and I I loved our conversation the other day. You gave me some good ideas as well. I think what we'll try to do is announce some things by the end of the year. I think then we'll have some of these things in play. I didn't want to kind of open up the playbook for some others right now. But I know in conversation with some of you guys, we've come up with some good ideas, and I think we'll do some more contests. We'll do some more incentives, and we'll just make it a lot of fun. And we'll get some people on your show, some other guys as well. And like I said, just make some things that we're working on kind of a new, I guess, a new plan for the tailgate and for the meet and greet. So, those signature items and again, without the current players, going back to, not going ahead this year, is that, the big part of it is for those people to meet current players and hang out and shoot the ball with them a little bit, give them high fives. And that's the big thing. When you can't do that, we, like I said, we just didn't want to do it mediocre.
Yeah. kind of just say, I just what Barry says there. It's like it's a shame. Obviously, everything that's going on with COVID and stuff is denying the facts. And say, Paul, you'll attest because you had the same experience that we had when me and Lauren and Steve, I went over. Like you say, you don't seem to get it with a lot of other NFL teams. Well, you don't certainly see it across the social media sites. Just for the fact we're saying that, Barry, you'll remember when we went over that it was in the craze of the what do you call it? The mannequin challenge, wasn't it? We were stood having a picture with there was quite a few. There was myself, Lauren, Sam, Chad and Callan, Rachel, Mike. Barry jumps in for a photo of us, and next thing, Drew Pearson just jumps into the middle of this mannequin challenge. And it's like, where?
Yeah, he had a great picture with Drew, that's for sure.
It's a shame no one else can experience that at the minute, and it's just the sad state of affairs that we're in at the minute, isn't it, really?
It's kind of funny over the years, too, is you talk to people and you try to explain what it's all about and what they get to do. And even though you tell them they're going to meet some current players and they're going to meet some former players, they still don't really get that until they are here and they're standing right in front of them. And, it's amazing how many people are just, tears are going down their eyes or they've been to the stadium for the first time. And that's the neat part about it all is to see that, in people because they could really do that, but it's just a matter of giving it more than just going to a game or just coming in town for the weekend, trying to add what we can to make it just an awesome time.
Definitely. And like Jameson, I can vouch as well. Like getting to hang about with you and Michael and everybody else with Cowboys Experience, like during the Jaguars game 2 years ago, like had such a fun time. We were just, and not to mention DGSC was there as well. Like, and not just that though, but it's like whenever like I've ever attended, you always made us feel like royalty, and that same goes for everyone. You always make sure that everyone's having a great time, and that's the whole part of the experience.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty much our mission. We always try to tell people that it don't matter what people do for a living, what color they are. We just want them to forget the world for a weekend that they're with us, and just treat them as family. In this day and age, customer service is really almost in the background, so it's almost unusual if you get really good experience. And my background's hotel and restaurant management, so we try to be in our team and are pretty much all my family and close friends, and we all want to kind of treat the customer that we don't even like to call them a customer. We just want them to all be almost feel like they're part of a family.
Yeah, and that has been something we've spoken about before. Like when we said, we talked about the sponsoring UK Cowboys TV, and you're like, I don't like that idea because it's the family thing that you aim for. And it was like, you're not paying us. We're more trying to increase the notoriety of Cowboys Experience in the UK. So we'll do it, in that roundabout fashion. Because as you say, the thing the big punchline you always aim for is always family, family, family.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people approach us for different things, and if it's not right or if it's not a sponsor that we've been given, and people try to come across and try to be sponsored, try to give us to do different things, but if it's not a right fit or it doesn't really represent our character or anything, then we're not going to be part of it. So
makes sense. Makes total sense. Yeah, but what we'll do is I'm now going to kick back, stick my feet up, because it is now officially the post-game show where we look back at the Vikings game. A lot of that it will help manifest into what happens on the pre-game side. So there's a bit of back and forth that will go on, especially with my notes, because we've already played Washington this year, so I'll be using that to go back on. But I'm going to hand you over to the host of the post-game show, the luck of the Irish, as we call him, our lucky charm, Mr. Brian Gaynor, sir. So it's all yours, mate. It's over to you and our host and our guest, Barry Griffith.
Cheers for that, Mike. It's great to know that I'm such a lucky charm for everyone. Love stuff like that. It's great to hear every time, but as we always say, folks, we always try and do two things before we start off and get into things. Obviously, welcome Barry into the show. It's great to have our main sponsor with us and that he can actually tell us about Cowboys Experience and we can promote what he does, because the guys have all been over there. They've enjoyed it. Come back telling us great stories. So it's great to have Barry in person. And then obviously the second one is get your comments into us. Don't be afraid to talk to us. Otherwise we're a bunch of guys just talking about American football. So interact with us. Paul is going to be pulling up comments as they come in here the whole time. Yep. So
bring the comments in, boys and girls.
So, but as we say, it's Victory Wednesday. The Cowboys won 31-28. Barry, give us your initial thoughts after that result.
About them Cowboys. Well, I think it goes back actually a couple games, the Eagles, Pittsburgh, and it's like, I got to give Kellen Moore credit too. Like, where did he find some of these pages out of? I think he went towards the back of the playbook or something. But man, it's exciting. I mean, some of the jet sweeps. I mean, the other night I'm like, what just happened when they handed it to Zeke and then he pitches out? I was like, what? I mean, this is like exciting now. I think, oh my gosh, it makes the hair stand up. It's like really cool. So, so I just hope they just keep on going. And gosh, when Dak gets in there, it's even going to be even more, much more exciting and better. But yeah, that's what I thought. I just was really neat. I think the coaching staff, the players, it seems like they're all starting to mesh a little bit now to kind of get on the page. They actually even seem to be tackling better, and so it's going to be exciting. And now we win. I think even little things like moving Zach out. They're doing that, making some change, get the best 5 on the line out there. I think we all feel the same way. Steele just wasn't getting it done for sure. And I like to see McGovern. They got to know what they got, and I think they're hopefully they'll play some of these new guys a lot more. I'm excited about Diggs' future. Bradley and I like to see what they got with him, and but Zach is just Zach does a lot with us, and we love him to death, and just it's obvious how darn good he is. So
such a legend. He's a legend, absolute legend.
Yeah. You've literally, I think me and you talk too much, because you've literally the first 3 main pointers of that game you've stolen. Which was
sorry about that.
Connor McGovern, Kellen Moore. The big one for me, what was the O-line kicking Martin out, Kellen Moore keeping the offense on schedule. Damn it. We talk too much.
I didn't even see your notes the other day either. So darn. Great minds think alike. We think alike, Mike.
Right, Barry, I've got a wee personal question for you from Simon Morris. If you know anything about Dak's recovery.
Oh, Simon. I think Simon. I think Dak just did a video yesterday or the day before with a little bit of an update. I think that's on Cowboys, DallasCowboys.com. I think. I'll look for it. I'll find it. I'll send it to you as well. But I think he just did a video update. But I think from what I'm hearing, he's ahead of schedule and everything. So.
It's probably
Simon. Hello, Simon. I think it was just Mrs. Morris's birthday the other day. So shout out to Simon's bride. So.
Sorry, I got disconnected, so I missed a bit of the punch. But just to kind of another jump on Sunday's game. It was nice to see Zeke go over 100 yards for the first time on the ground this year as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the words of Tyson West Coast, run the damn ball.
Yeah. It's very true. It's very true. So, as a result of the game, obviously, we are now back into joint second with the Giants and the football team. How do we feel about that, Rich?
It's fun, isn't it? It's like, we're still in with a shout. And we've got 3 wins. Yay! This is crazy. Yeah, crazy division. Yeah, it's like you shouldn't be excited, but you are because of just it's 2020 and everything going on. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's just this is just going to go down to the wire, isn't it? Go on then.
Yeah.
Question for you, Rich. I know that you're going to enjoy this one, and Paul's going to laugh as soon as I ask it. What do you think about the fall of Wentz's game on the weekend?
Sorry, can we just rephrase that, Mike? Sorry. How can we change that to Prince Harry? Come on, let's get it right. We can't let the Royal
Prince Harry. I love watching Carson Wentz play badly in every way, shape, or form. I love it.
I think we all do.
I think I take as much joy in watching Carson Wentz play badly as I do watching England play badly at rugby. I really genuinely do think they're on par. It's just like...
I'm off. See you later.
You like league though, and that doesn't count. So we're talking different things here.
Leeds is its own country in its own right here,
Exactly.
That's not to get in.
But it was glorious, wasn't it? It's just like watching like people say like, because they're always going off and saying about Dak, and it's like, really, you want to just worry about your own, don't worry about your own house before you start criticizing other people.
Do you know what though? Do you know what's really weird though? And I'd never really kind of thought about it until kind of after the game the other day. And a lot of people say we can be a fickle fan base sometimes. And do you know what? To be fair, after this weekend we can probably camp, because for weeks we've been banging on the let's just sack the rest of this season off and let's tank for a really good pick, and then we win. It's like, we're going to win the division. Let's keep going.
Straight away, you get like one win, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Super Bowl's on!" And it's like,
yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Rich. It was brutal for even the fans hammering each other there for a couple of weeks. But now after the other day, everybody loves each other again.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys, we can do this. It's like, okay, let's tone it down a little bit. We've gone from like one extreme to the other, but yeah, it's a decent time. Especially when your opposing team's fan base is talking smack.
Yeah.
That's the power of football.
Oh, that is one funky ringtone, man.
Sorry.
If there's one thing I'm really looking forward to, is the fact that we can still make the playoffs with a negative record and potentially still hit. We could be the first ever team.
You should have just been able to click on that link I sent you.
Business all the time.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. I'll
Hey, Mike, I'm sorry. Is there a 6-digit code for Kenny to get in?
Oh, you've got Kenny on ready to go, have you?
He said he's trying to put in it's asking him for a 6-digit code.
That's probably the
login. One moment. Let me
it should be the same URL as what we're on right now.
Yeah. Let me send it to you via message bar.
Okay.
And we'll get Kenny rocking. I'll send it to you in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just continue talking, and I'll send it to you, and it'll come through on Messenger for you, bro. There shouldn't be a code, mind. There is no code. If there is, I don't know what it is.
6-digit code is like, I don't know. There's a code. Okay.
But carrying on anyway from the game on Sunday. So Paul and Graham, I'm going to throw this over to you. So the injury update. So we had Anthony Brown is injured again. Tyler Biadasz has gone to IR. That's softened by the news Trayvon Diggs could return. And then obviously our thoughts and prayers are going out to Marcus Paul, the news that broke yesterday. It was Monday. So we are hoping there has been some good news from Marcus.
Fingers crossed.
Touch wood. It's never something you want to hear. But Graham, if you want to give us your thoughts on what happened with injuries this week.
I mean, it's the run of our season, really, isn't it? I mean, we saw Chido come back in and lead the team with 5 tackles, 4 assists. So it's going to be like that. You're going to find playmakers every week, whether they've just come back from injury or if they've been available the whole season. Biadasz, I don't think we expected to play all that much. Anthony Brown, we're kind of stacked at receiver anyway. You're talking more special teams with Brown, but so long as we can throw the ball across the field after we catch kicks and run them down the sideline, we'll be absolutely fine on special teams. So yeah, but to see Chido come back in and play as well as he did, that was encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting into the bones of it, and Paul, you kind of alluded to this already, and I could see one of the comments coming in. What happened to our offense at the weekend? It showed up.
Yeah. Everything seemed to be clicking. Don't get me wrong, there was a couple of wee moments where a bit of hesitation, but in terms of the flow of the ball, and even Barry commented that we were going jet sweeps. We were sticking to the run game. Zeke was doing really well. He looked as powerful as he should be, and we had that nice dynamic of bringing in Pollard when we need to, and we got a touchdown from him. And what else can we say? CD Lamb was a stud in that game. That touchdown was ridiculously good. So, but offensively, I can't really complain anything at all. Obviously, there's just the giving it like the wee sack and that, but overall, I was very happy overall.
Yeah. Like, I think, Barry, I'm going to throw this back to you. You kind of mentioned it in your preamble there about Zach Martin. I mean, talk to us about Zach and the O-line and what happened there. Like, it just, something clicked on Saturday or on Sunday. So was it just as simple as moving Zach out to right tackle?
Yeah, I think it gave them. He said he had the whole week. He knew about it for a week, so it gave them at least a week for him and McGovern to kind of work hand in hand. I think, but I think with Zach being so good and such a veteran and such a leader, that line is it used to be such a cohesive group, and when you lose Lowell and lose Tyron and Travis and then Looney was out for a while, it's really challenging. But I think just that he at least had a week and to do that. I think I don't know who I was listening to the other day, and they said no matter if Zach whatever position he probably plays, he'll be an all-pro, and no matter what position on that line. But I think he's just such a. I mean, just think about way back in the day, how many of those, and I think Jerry included, wanted that the train wreck.
Johnny.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's just such a good move and really, really paid off because Zach is such a. I think Jamie, you and Paul you guys both met Zach, I think, right? I mean,
yeah. Zach's an awesome guy. I've met Travis as well. Obviously, he's no longer with us in the team and that, but he's still got that presence within Cowboys Nation. But in terms of Zach, yeah, man, he's just a great guy in general, man. Took the time, spent 5-10 minutes talking to him while I was getting my football signed. He was really curious to know about the UK, our fans and that as well. Like, and that's, yeah, I can't say anything negative about the guy, and the fact he's just an amazing offensive lineman. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, I'm going to throw this into you and throw you a bone here and let you talk about one of your favorite things in the whole world. Talk to me about Connor Williams, your beloved Texas Longhorn.
Yeah,
yeah.
You put me on the spot and you say we've been beating around, haven't we? And it's just like, yeah, is this going to be the platform for what we saw in college? And like I said, and just sometimes you just need that one opportunity, or you just need that one little bit of a confidence boost. And I know the Vikings are struggling just as much as we are, but that defense is still pretty good. And like you're saying, there was just a different mentality this week by them all. And like you're saying, and there's one of the plays from Zeke where he runs it in between the left tackle and left guard, and the hole is just it's insanely huge. And like you're saying, the confidence just along that line, and like you're saying, so it steps in from one, like you say, Zach played out that way, but then it steps in and it comes in to everybody. And like you're saying, clearly Connor, do you know what I mean? He had a dose of the confidence pills on Saturday, and so fingers crossed, we're now going to see why the guard tackle, whatever you want to call him, why we drafted him so high.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just to go on the back of what Jamie was saying, that defensive line, they've lost a few pieces, but they're no slouches. I mean, Jaleel Johnson had a huge game. Maybe not a household name, but he still had a really good game.
Hendricks as well.
I think we saw why they started with Andy Dalton, because I don't think Garrett Gilbert would have won that game. They needed an experienced player to go in there and throw 3 touchdowns. So I think just at the end of it, experience won out with Dalton.
Yeah, just to back up that, like, people were kind of maybe criticizing Dalton about that interception. I'm sorry, but that was just an amazing play from Hendricks.
That was a freak play.
Like,
that was nothing but pure instinct and skill. That was
just... like the pass was accurate. It was. I think it was going towards Schultz. Dalton, wasn't it? Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was going to Schultz.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but like you could see it in the camera. It was going to be pinpoint, but where Hendricks came out of nowhere and managed to intercept that was just a great defensive play. There was nothing wrong with Andy Dalton did. Anything like
great play.
The pass was like it was great in that. So, but I just want to say, if there was any people giving Dalton any slack, there should be no need for that. It was just a great defensive play.
Do you know what,
Sometimes
Paul? I'm really glad you say it, just for the fact that you say great. Like any wide receiver would have been absolutely stoked with that pick, and it kind of, and we touched about it like the couple of weeks before when he had the 2 interception game, and like, I mean, the last one, because the Cowboys were so far behind, he had no choice but to throw it, and he was going to throw an interception eventually, and just that one, it was just you just can't do. The route was run wide, the blocking was immense. It was just an instinctive play by a talented defensive player. Yep. Sorry, jump in, Mike. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, like, you know, people can make criticisms about quarterbacks throwing interceptions, but sometimes it is sometimes the defense just sometimes the defense just made a great play. Yeah, I don't say anything for 10 minutes, and then when I do, I let out an F-bomb.
I'm just surprised it wasn't me.
Speaking about going back to that CeeDee Lamb too, I mean, do you think in the last year and a half, have we, between him and Michael Gallup, have we seen any better acrobatic catches between those two? It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially, what I like is I like the fact that we had Des Bryant as well. So when you think a lot of those, what I'm on about with the back shoulder fade, with the back shoulder fade catches, like when you see, like reiterating on what you were saying, Barry, where you've got Gallup making those catches, now you've got CeeDee Lamb making that crazy. You know, it was a back shoulder fade, but it was a crazy catch. And do you know what's ironic is CeeDee Lamb came out and said that catch isn't even my best catch.
Mate,
that's brilliant.
Mate, you did realise you said Des Bryant earlier?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
All right, I was just making sure. I thought you were saying that he was playing. I thought the way you were saying it was like he was playing in the game. No, I'm on
about for the Cowboys making. Yeah.
Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Right.
Rich, I'm going to feed one into you, Rich. So talk to me about the Tony Pollard touchdown, but more importantly, talk to me about the offensive line work on that touchdown play.
Oh, it was beautiful, wasn't it? It was just like, it's brilliant. Like the guys were saying earlier, it was just naughty. You would just like we've seen it for a while now. This 1-2 punch with him, where Zeke's going and doing and getting the rough yards, and then you just have that change of pace, and Pollard just goes and shoots, and he's got that acceleration, and he put it on show, and it was just absolutely glorious to watch. It was glorious. I mean, they just the whole line just completely stepped, like the whole game just completely stepped up, and there was quite a few times. There was a couple of times where Zeke didn't go for actually quite a big gap.
Yeah, it was
one of them
right down the middle as well.
Gaps. Yeah.
The one right down the middle. I was like, oh, I've not seen that in a while.
Yeah, exactly. It was a little bit reminiscent of everything before, and Zeke was himself. He was falling forward. He was going through. He was protecting the ball well, which makes a difference.
I'm pretty sure the play. I'm pretty sure the play that we're talking about, there was the double team from Looney and Connor Williams. Then Connor McGovern was pushing out to the right. I think that was the one that had the big gap in the middle, and there's a whole screenshot And I think a few of the other Cowboys content creators have been commenting about it. Like it's just like the gap, the gap in that line was just ridiculous. It's like
it was mad.
Zeke was actually like, no way, what?
It was similar to what he was getting way back. Do you remember that winning touchdown, like seasons ago against the Steelers when we played them there for the win?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was reminiscent of that, and he just went shot through, and it was.
And what was funny. What's funny is we even talked about it with Barry Gibson from Official America's Team last week. That I wrote a little snippet about. There's nothing wrong with Zeke. Like that's what you can't take away from what I wrote. But what I was saying is it would benefit Zeke to have Pollard play more in there. Not because Zeke, people are saying he's playing bad. He's not playing bad. He's still a top.
No, he's not.
He's like a top. I think he's in running back rankings. He ranks 7 in yards, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But what I was saying with the Pollard part is more to keep him fresh and to maintain Zeke's health, because a healthy running back's a happy running back.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time. It was the first time you saw the effective 1-2 punch work really, really well. Like you expect Pollard to come in and be the change of pace back, and to average 12 yards per carry. That's what you need. You need a kind of split him out wide. Toss it, play something different. And I mean, he got 60 yards on 5 carries. That was impressive.
Yeah.
But that's the effectiveness of having the change of pace back come in at the right appropriate time, and then that benefits your bell cow going forward throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's nothing new. I mean, there's a big difference between benching someone and rotational play to keep players. We fit. We do it all the time on the defensive line. Every team does it.
Yeah.
And multiple positions, depending on obviously how things line up. But it happens a lot. There's no difference in that sort of situation, and it is only a good thing, because these two players, they do two things very well but slightly differently. And if they're both quite fit, and we've always seen Zeke has usually excelled and the offensive line has excelled, the longer a game has gone on and the better the Cowboys can establish a running game. Well, if you've got 2 running backs then that are quite well rested, they haven't had as many snaps, they're not as, they're not chugging as much, then it's going to be even better,
Yeah, I think that's why our offense has been kind of, in terms of the runners, is over the last few years since we especially drafted Zeke, and it's been so kind of deadly important. Like I said, Zeke's not just that big kind of back. Compared to Pollard, is a lot bigger build, but he's got the speed. So put Zeke in there on a lot of downs, like you kind of tend to see him do, where their defensive line down, and then you get the players like Pollard gets and he goes for a big burst. And like I say, it's getting that consistency, and that's probably where the thing comes back to the defensive line. That's why it's only taken till what is it? What now? Week 9, week 10, week 11? Not even week 11 that we've finally got Zeke over 100 yards on the ground, because we've managed to find some consistency on that offensive line.
Just to bring something in, I brought up the comment earlier. Simon commenting on YouTube, Mr. Simon Hodgson. I know this is more for the pre-game, but I think I might as well get this question in right now. But do you see Tony Pollard being as effective tomorrow's game?
If they can stay balanced,
yes.
If we go 2 scores behind and have to go to the passing game, I see Pollard disappearing. But we were able to control the game and deal with their playmakers at the same time, because we stayed balanced and because we ran the ball. There was at least 30 rushing attempts, so we managed to stay on point. We managed to swap them in and out, and if we can continue to do that, keep Pollard as the change of pace, then I don't see why not. But if we go behind, it kind of goes out the window a little bit, because we've seen it done too many times this season before.
Well, I think more than anything is the best description you can use is we need Dalton to not have to be a hero.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will probably be the best line they face all year. So
No, it is. I mean, we'll get to Washington and pregame show because we've got a bit to talk about the D-line. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys, which was the one I've circled the most, and all of you answer this one. I do apologise. I'm taking over, Bri, but it was just.
I was going to say, mate. I was going to say.
I'm sorry, but it was just something that I noted, and I wanted to get what all of your opinion was on this. But do you think over the Vikings game and the Pittsburgh game, do you think Kellen Moore and Nolan as well, Mike Nolan, they've saved their jobs now?
For now,
no, definitely not.
No.
So end of the season,
not for me.
So end of the season at least.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit unfair on Kellen Moore to ask that question. I don't see the injuries on defense that I do on offense. I mean, despite Cook and Adam Thielen having huge games, we still managed to win the game. So the defense did something. They gave us an opportunity to get back out and score points. So there has been a marked improvement. Whether it saves his job, I think it's too early because it's a very, very small sample size. We said during the Steelers post game that we need to see consistency. There were more points scored and their playmakers got a better grip of the game, but we still managed to win the game. We still got the opportunity to run the 2-minute drill down the field to win. So it's been a very close loss and a win the past 2 weeks. So that's not firing form, like to get a coach out the door. So if that can continue, there's no reason why we can't keep both of them next year.
Yeah. And that's beautiful segue, and I'm going to throw this straight over to you, Barry. In terms of the defense, I mean, we have seen a marked improvement in those last 3 games. The numbers are down a lot on what they were. What would your own thoughts be on Mike Nolan? Is the players that are gone, that negative kind of veteran players that gone out the window? Or
it almost looks that way now. It when they had that, I think right before they got rid of them, there was that controversy, about some of the poison in the locker room, some of the back and forth. So maybe they were the ones that they needed to get rid of. I mean, obviously they both were pretty, really underachieving. That's for sure. I was really bummed about Poe. I thought he was really a good pickup at the time. I mean, I saw highlights on him. I think he had a touchdown on almost everything. I think he had a defensive touchdown in his career. I think he caught a pass for a touchdown. He threw a pass. So I was like, wow, it's almost like bringing the fridge in. And I thought I was kind of, but you never know. Now you don't hear as much. And of course, winning always cures a lot of stuff. They had a pretty good game against Pittsburgh. They beat Minnesota. So now it seems like everybody's kind of starting to gel a little bit. I think it's early on Nolan, but I agree with Graham. I've always liked Kellen Moore. I liked him from day one. I thought it was a good move. And obviously the last couple of games, it's getting kind of exciting with some of those, the new plays. And, like I said, I said earlier about the jet sweep and that handoff to Zeke and then the pitch. I mean, gosh, that's exciting stuff. And I think they need to do more of that. And I think that's a tribute to Kellen. So I think if he opens it up even a little bit more with being creative, Nolan, I'm just not sure about it. We'll see. We'll see, I guess, I think with the players and how they gel.
Yeah,
100%. I mean,
in the exact mind frame. Love Kellen, Nolan ? Sorry, Rich, I'll leave it back to you.
Yeah, it was just to reiterate. I mean, we've been saying up until recently, it's just been we've been questioning. What's the issue? Like we literally had multiple shows saying what's the issue here? Is it the coaching? Is it the players? Is it a bit of both? And now that it looks like things are starting to click, specifically on the offense. You can see now situations where Kellen Moore and his play designs have helped. So you can actually start to evaluate now Kellen Moore and what he brings. You can't do that yet for Mike Nolan, I don't think. And it's slightly different in my opinion. But it's, everything on both sides seems to be gelling, and there was a lot of desire there on that defense, though. That's one thing I will say. There's been a marked difference on that defense.
Go on, Mike. I can see you for points.
I just want to interject to get a question in for Barry. Kenny Gant, everything all right there? Sorted?
Yeah, he should be on any second, I think. I'll text him.
Okay, no, I'm just double checking everything's fine with you, brother. All right, sorry.
Okay.
Continue, guys. Continue. Ignore me.
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, Bri, but I would
Go for it.
Just because I had it on my mind, and I had it on my mind at the weekend when it happened. So I'm kind of just gonna throw it to you, but if anybody else wants to jump in as well, just because we were talking about a certain someone off air before tonight, the play by Wilson.
The hit on Cook.
Which one?
The one on Cook, he almost ended Cook's life. Now, over a staggered period this season, he's done a few plays like that. And just because we were talking about a certain someone off air, do you think we've now found our kind of champion for this season?
Jamie, I'm just going to mute Mike Poland's mute his microphone. No, we all know Mike is only dying to talk about this because Donovan Wilson is a much beloved Texas Aggie. So, Mike, go on, talk about it.
Mike's an Aggie. What? No.
Never.
He should have said
Nobody knows I'm an Aggie
Never.
fan. What? People don't know I'm an Aggie fan.
You should have mentioned this.
Should have mentioned this before, Mike.
All I want to say, I got 2 questions for you. I got a question for everyone, right? Now, I'm not going to be offended, so don't worry, because I know exactly what Donovan Wilson is and what he isn't, so don't worry, right? But all I'm going to give you, right, check this out. In the last 3 games, right, we've started to give Donovan Wilson a bit more of a role. And in the last 3 games, this is his stat line. 17 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Right? So, I give you that. My question to you is based on what we've got. It's a small sample size, and I know exactly the type of player Donovan Wilson is. But the fact that we always argue in Cowboys Nation, we lack in safety. Do you think perhaps the tide is turning on safety with Donovan Wilson?
I'm just going to I think we found our Jeff Heath in terms, and what I mean by that is, and no disrespect to him. Hear me out.
And Jamie, the subtitle goes on mute. No, go on, Jamie.
And what I mean by that is because we talked about this while Jeff Heath was on the roster, and we kind of touched on it in pre-season that we kind of we seem to lack a lot of these players that are not these household names that come up and make big plays every now and again and give it and inject a spark sometimes. And that's what he started to do. So that's what I mean by it. We found maybe our new Jeff Heath, that he's not this flashy kind of guy who's gonna. Yeah. He's not going to be like, and I use like Earl Thomas just because he's one of the big names out there.
He is not Earl Thomas,
but he's going to come on and he's one play can inject some confidence in defense, and that hit on Dalvin Cook at the weekend, and he's done that a couple of times, and that's what I mean by Jeff Heath. So I think we may have found the replacement or someone that way. Yeah. Sorry, Brian, if I need to give it
possibly.
No. I mean, I was going to jump in and say, yeah, it's great to see a player like that back in the lineup because, I mean, we all have, like, everyone knows my love of Jeff Heath, so we're not going to talk about that. But I mean, in terms of all of us preseason, we're saying we hoped that Xavier Woods was going to step up. He was going to make that impact as our safety and starting safety. And for me, at the end of the season, I'm not renewing Xavier Woods. I'm going, bye-bye, best of luck. Definitely starting Donovan Wilson. Mm-hmm. And I have a couple of safeties who I've already started watching tape on in the draft. I mean, again, I'm a Texas Longhorn. Caden Stearns in the 3rd round. That's my guy.
I was waiting for you to say his name.
Yeah.
It's almost like, because you're right, we have gone on that we need safety help. We need we need help at the safety division, whether through free agency or the draft or whatever. It's almost as if you don't want to say too much too soon because it could just fizzle out. Like Mike says, it is small sample size. The one difference in Wilson is that we have an extra 2 years on his deal, so it's not like somebody comes in and offers him huge money and we end up, another prospect leaving. He has got a little bit of time left on his contract. He is only 23 years old, so the potential is there. But I'm just going to temper it a little bit because, like we say, it is a small sample size, and we're not going to go and award them $12 million a season over 3 games, But hopefully the tide has turned.
Yeah, it's like you said, you've got to not let your excitement run away with you when you see something like that. But the stats don't lie. But it is a small sample size. But I mean, like you said, he's not a household name. But if he keeps putting hits like that on people and standing over him, like that film like last Friday or whatever it is, when he's standing over and it's like, you got knocked the F out. He makes hits like that. Like, he's going to become a household name fairly quickly. Like, that was some serious smack he brought on Cook. And he's no slouch.
You're saying there about not household names. How many Patriots are household names? And look how many rings they've got. That can sometimes be our problem, that we throw money in free agency and we end up with a dud. Maybe going down the Donovan Wilson route of giving them a good amount of games every year is the way to go by building a team rather than just trying to sign one.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because really random question here, because the Cowboys over at least while I've been following them have always been quite apprehensive to go and splash out in free agency because of there is that risk for that sort of thing happening and you miss. And then there's been a marked step up this year, and then you've missed. They've let certain people go mid-season. Do you think that will now it'll be a once bitten, twice shy? It'll be like, okay, we tried it, now let's go back to the way we used to do it moving forward.
Well, I mean, you saw we throw the young guys in the D-line and look what happens. Gallimor's taken over. Randy Gregory's come back and made a huge difference. Don't underestimate either of those guys stepping in. Paul has called it from day one that Gallimore would make a difference. Randy Gregory has come back in and performed.
Because I mean, coaches are always going to do exactly what they've done, or by and large, they're going to do what they've done, and they'll always lean more towards guys they know and the experience rather than putting the new guys in a situation. But sometimes that's kind of what you need to do. Trial by fire can kind of work for a fair amount of guys. So
it's true. And Paul, I'm gonna feed this part into you because I know you're just dying to talk about it. The run defense at the weekend. I mean, when I was doing up the stats, the amount of solo tackles was way down on what it normally was, but the number of dual tackles and two-player tackles was phenomenal. So take it away.
No, I think it's not here. It's supposed to be here 40 minutes ago. How you doing, brother?
2 seconds, man. Man. What can I say, man? Our defensive line just made an absolute impact for that whole game. Helped isolate Dalvin Cook to God knows how many X amount of yards, and there was a good couple of sacks on what you call him, Mr. Kirk Cousins. But what did they say? DeMarcus Lawrence would actually be after him for that whole game, and I was right.
Yeah.
Just a quick one on that sack. It would have been an absolute crime if the sack got flagged, because it was very, very close.
Oh, very.
It was very, very close.
You talking about the strip sack?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I legitimately thought that was going to go back, and that was going to be an automatic first down for the Vikings. After seeing the replay, but when they gave it to us, I was like, no way. That is just unreal.
Because we talked about the hit on Roethlisberger being flagged. You really have to wonder where the line is for the officials nowadays, and I'm not sure they know. It's all down to personal opinion for a lot of the time.
that's the thing, though. It's like with these referees, there's just so much inconsistency is going about right now. And there was. I'll be honest. There was a couple of times I kind of felt as though I'm trying to remember what play it was. There was a double hold on. I think it was on D-Law and one on Antoine Woods. It was like in the first quarter of the game, and I was screaming. I was like, "How is that not being flagged for holding?" And it was proper like tugging the jersey away. Like it was so evident and no flag at all. But lucky enough that it was only like a 2-yard gain from Kirk Cousins because he had to run outside the pocket. You know.
Do you know though? We touched on it kind of a little bit in terms of how the offense kind of, or the defensive line kind of played well, and there just seemed like a lot of confidence. And you could see kind of as the game grew on that the front seven kind of just grew in a massive confidence. And I know we touched on it a little bit a minute ago about the Wilson hit, but just look at the hustle. Once that ball came out, Jalen Smith was there, DeMarcus Lawrence was there.
Yes.
Not just and sometimes you always see when the ball's out, it's like the ball's out, and you might see a guy 5 yards away or try and get it. So you might have 3 defensive players there, but somebody from 5-10 yards away might come look at the ball. But instantly the ball went out. You could see Jalen Smith looked at the ball and kind of DeMarcus Lawrence looked for the ball, but then also went, "Do you know what? Actually,
absolute ball hawking."
And saying as soon as they knew they weren't going to get it, rather than kind of let's piss about and see what's going to happen here, let's just get upfield and start blocking. And do you know what I mean? And it was good to see that. I mean, there was some fight there. Yeah, the season's been awful, but there was some fight there, and you, especially on that play, you could see there's some pride in there, and the want to not have this kind of. I mean, they played so poorly all year because this defense is a lot better than what the stat line actually shows.
Yeah, and I got to put something out there real quick. Sorry, Paul. A couple of weeks ago, I was on here and I said the type of player that I thought Tank was. I thought he was in it for him, and I hoped that he was wrong and he was going to put things out there and he was actually going to lead. And bring some intensity to things and do things like this. And he has now proven me wrong. And I'm so happy to be wrong. I really, really am.
I think we all are, though, Richie. I think we all, because we have, like me and Graham have been critics of him, especially. And we're guilty of it. We just kind of felt as though the start of the season, it just lacked his first step. But there could be many factors towards that. Again, I'm not trying to throw excuses out there, but this is this has been the first, I would say, second game of the season where we're actually starting to see him being D-Law again, properly.
Yeah.
And we're now seeing that being reflected onto the rest of that defensive line.
Yes.
As you all know, D-line, defensive line is my jam, right? And I'll say this again, the main key word was the hustle, and you nailed it right in the dot there, Rich. It's the hustle. It's like people were literally hungry to get the ball and make the tackle and make the play, and not just defensive line, but we're seeing it in the centre. And we already covered Donovan Wilson. We saw that already. We're seeing him coming down 10, 15 yards from the backfield, coming down and make some major hits. And our good friend Big Wheel made the comment saying it was awesome. It was awesome. It was fantastic. So
it was brilliant to see Tank swarm to that ball and get that ball, and he's getting back up. And I commented a little while afterwards during the game. It was literally like watching someone taking the ball, Jalen Smith taking the ball out the back of a mall in a rugby game. Because he said that, and he was like, there was communication there as well, and you could see it. And it's like, it's me. I've got this. Let me have that. And Tank stayed there, took a man up. Jalen comes and wheels around, and then there's guys coming up, and you got block and block and block. And there was so much fight there that you could see on that one play from the entire defensive unit, and it was amazing to see.
Do you know though when as soon as when Dalvin Cook caught the ball and Wilson kind of got to maybe about a yard away from him, did anybody else just kind of imagine Dalvin Cook's soul just breaking into a million pieces, thinking, "I'm fucked"?
On the replay, yeah. It was just he was a battering ram. He was a heat-seeking missile on that one, wasn't he? He was just bloody hell. He was going through him, and there was no two ways about it.
Graham, I'm going to throw a question over to you, and it's a guy I know you love to give an awful lot of abuse to.
Yes.
Jalen Smith, has he improved with Leighton Van Der Esch back in the lineup?
Just run the tape from the Steelers post game. It just what we talked about last week. He has become the scapegoat quite simply.
Graham, can I interrupt you for 1 wee second, because we are just to introduce our special guest, Mr. Lincoln Coleman.
Hello.
Dude.
What's going on, people?
No way.
How are we, sir? How are we?
Oh.
He's coming back
Go on. Oh, man. That is back.
There he is again.
Oh, that was
Okay, now I
brilliant.
can hear you.
Mr. Lincoln Coleman, good evening, sir. How are you?
How are you good people doing over there across the water?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good.
Doing good.
So what do you think about our Cowboys?
Getting better.
Getting there. Work in progress.
Oh, listen, man, I have some harsh words for the Cowboys, man, and it's been coming for the last 25 years. Okay? So let me say it like because see, I'm born and raised in Dallas, Texas, all right? And my love for the Cowboys go real deep. My grandfather, on my first birthday, told everybody in the family that I was going to play for the Cowboys. Okay? And growing up, that's all I ever loved, ever thought about was being a Cowboy, loving the Cowboys, being a part of the Cowboys family. The problem that's going on now is we got a lot of players who show up, they sign their name on their contract, and they go, now I'm a part of America's team. And I dig that. But how I learned to become a part of America's team is by winning championships or competing for championships. You just don't become a Cowboy because they put a jersey on your back. You got to go out there and you got to be somebody. So they have this new fabulous facility, the Star. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. It's fabulous. Fabulous. And they show up and they go, I'm a part of the greatest team ever on the planet. But they're not playing like it. So there needs to be some humility. There needs to be some courage. There needs to be a coach that can come in and tell them about the history. And tell them this is how this thing works. So I'm not sure. I mean, I know they got Leon Lett as the defensive line coach. I know they don't talk much with a lot of the ex-players. A lot of the ex-players don't go walk through that locker room. But when I played in the 90s, I hung out with Randy White. He had a restaurant. I used to go there every Wednesday, and I sat at his feet, and I listened to him tell me how the Star became a star. Every Thursday night, Drew Pearson had a club called Drew's 88. We would go up in VIP. There'd be no women in there. There'd just be current Cowboys, and there would be old school Cowboys, and we in there chatting. They're patting us on the head. They're telling us we've been doing a great job. That's how this thing works. You go and you hang out with them guys. They teach you the game. They tell you how this thing works. And then you go out there and your job is to want to be like them. There's no reason to be like anybody else. Okay? So 88, the 88 now, he needs to be like 88 back in the day. Drew Pearson. Michael Irvin. There you go. I see you, Jersey.
Just to add you in on this one, mind you, Link, you have joined us on episode number 88.
There we go.
Not only that, you're joining us on the Thanksgiving show, which was your game basically on Thanksgiving.
That's when I officially became a Cowboy.
I disagree. You were always a Cowboy. Officially, you were always a Cowboy. That was just when you happened to play for the Cowboys.
That's right. You know, I was
when he got his first scalp.
My first year with the Cowboys, I spent the first 6 weeks on practice squad. Okay,
practice squad. Yeah. I can remember the game. I can remember the game. Only just.
Yeah, and then they pulled me up. The game before Thanksgiving, we played in Atlanta. And Emmett got hurt. He bruised his thigh and all of that. And so we only had, those 3 or 4 days to get ready for Thanksgiving. And they put me on the active roster. And I knew I was going to get an opportunity, but I didn't know I was going to get that much of an opportunity because Emmett never comes out the game.
Yeah.
He never comes out the game.
What was crazy is obviously for some people in the UK, some of the older people may know, some of the newer people who are into the Dallas Cowboys in the UK might not know. But the thing I remember, the obvious thing I remember is the Leon Lett part, but also and like it's synonymous. If you say the Leon Lett game, most Cowboy fans go, "Oh yeah, that game." But the weirdest one I can remember was the fact it was snowed.
Yeah, right.
Hey, we woke up that morning and we were like, what's going on here?
How often does it snow in Dallas?
Hey, it doesn't.
That once.
Do you know it has snowed. It has snowed, Rich. It's just so uncommon.
Very rare.
What happens is it'll snow and then it's gone by the next day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it doesn't stay around.
I mean, I was only about 10 years old, so a lot of it is kind of vague. But I can remember, if my memory serves right, there was some sort of storm, hurricane or something that led to that.
Something was happening. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but we woke up that next morning, and what I heard from my running back coach, he said, "Listen, you may get a few more carries with all this crap on the ground." That's how he called it. He said, with all this crap on the ground, and I said, "Okay, no problem." You know what I mean? I'm ready to go. And I'll tell you like this: my first play from scrimmage, I don't think I touched the ground. I couldn't believe I was out there. I did not hear the fans. All I could concentrate on is waiting on Aikman to say, "Huh."
It's like you're in that zone. It's like you cannot hear anything else but the snap count. Totally understand, mate. Because like I played football as well. Like, not to kind of bring it up or anything, but not compared to yourself, Mr. Coleman. But I know what it's like. Like I played O-line and D-line, but everyone knows it's like you're just so focused. You're just cancelling out all the noise and all you're hearing the quarterback saying the proper snap count. I totally understand. It's like you're just like in the zone.
Yes, I was. It was surreal. And then to go out and get more yards than any other backup to Emmett ever, that was crazy. And to have Michael Irvin and Aikman pat you on the head, and Emmett, when I would come out the field, Emmett would sit down with me and he would actually ask me, go, "What do you see?" And I'm like, "You asking me?" The safety is coming down in the box and I'm like, Emmett is treating me like one of the guys, The reason I say I officially became a Cowboy, because I didn't feel that way when I was on the practice. You know what? I take that back. I remember one day in practice, after practice, I was talking to the guys in the locker room, and Charles Haley came up to me and said, "Listen, man, I know bitch you out about how hard you're running in practice. He says, but you're essential to this team, and you help us get ready for the next game. So don't ever take a step back. He said, you're a 40 cog on this team. And I said, okay, all right, no problem. You know what I mean? Then I really felt good after that.
Do you know? I looked back at the stats from that game as well, and like you say, not just to the fact that you kind of came in and had to obviously do a job with Emmett not being there. It also snowed. NFL debut, but you look at the stats. Still average. It was just over five yards a carry for that game for your first game. It was like, yeah. It's just like.
Hey, I'm telling you, I was numb, man. I tell you, it was absolutely crazy, and also, I came in with a really good buddy of mine, Kevin Williams. That year, we both were rookies, and for him to do what he did in that game, and then what I, tried to do in the game, it was two Dallas boys. Okay, and so what happened was they had the turkey on our side of the field. They were going to give it to Kevin and I. And after Leon Lett did the thing with and I'll explain why he did that. But after he touched the ball and they ended up getting it back, they sent that turkey to the other side of the field, get slide in the snow, But I don't know if you guys know this. The Leon Lett thing. He was trying to dead the ball.
Yeah.
The summer, before the season started, the league changed the rules on deading the ball after a blocked field goal. Okay, so after you blocked the field goal, you had to go and touch the ball or pick it up and run with it, whatever, to dead the ball. So before the season started, they said, all you have to do is block it and get the hell away from the ball. So you got Thomas Everett screaming, get away from the ball, get away from the ball. And everybody got away from the ball but Leon. He had a brain fart. He forgot what the rules were. And he, as you can see, no one was around the ball but him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was an honest mistake. It was our first block of the season, and he just went for it.
I generally do kind of feel sorry for Leon because, that's how a lot of people kind of remember him for. But when you actually, if you were to take away that one play, people would say a completely different story about him. Completely different story.
Well, here's one for you, right? I got one for you, right, Link? If you said, right, that you could start play but lose in the Thanksgiving game but Super Bowl ring, would you say okay?
Hey, man, hey. I would take a Super Bowl ring at any time, at all. At all times, man. After the game, the press, they came up to me and they were like, "Hey, man, what'd you say to Leon? Did you go and bitch him out?" And I'm like, "Leon's 6'7", 6'8", and his arms, and his hands touch the ground while he's standing." No, I didn't say a damn thing to him. I was like, if Jimmy Johnson's not going to say anything to him, I'm not going to say anything to him.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's wise.
That's up to the coaches.
Yeah. I've also got, though, I've always wanted to ask this, right? In a foot race between you and Emmitt Smith, who wins?
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you.
Go for it.
Even though I was bigger than him, I had more speed than him. All right, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I worked out with Michael Irvin in the offseason in the offseason of '95.
Yeah.
And I did everything that he did. He's a workout demon.
Yeah.
And we had this drill called God dang it. It was it's where you start at one point, You go 5 yards, come back another 10 yards, and then come back another 5. It's like 15-yard shuttle drill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And
Short shuttle. Yeah.
and to this day, at 240 pounds, I ran the fastest shuttle drill than anyone in Cowboys history. I ran a 3.25. Most people run a 4.41, 3.9, something like that.
Yeah.
And I owe it all to working out with Michael Irvin. So I was quicker, but here's the deal about Emmett. People ask me all the time about Emmett and then Sanders. If Barry Sanders was playing behind our offensive line, he'd average 2,500 yards a year. But here's the thing. Emmett made that thing happen. Emmett was the utmost, and he was the leader of our team. He was. He would play, and we would watch him do his thing, and we would be inspired by Emmett. I know a lot of people seeing Michael Irvin screaming and jumping up and down and hoorah and all of that stuff. That meant nothing. Emmett was a football player, and he believed in winning. And he was he never talked. If he talked, that means he was pissed. But watching the greatest game I've ever seen, New York Giants, last game of the year, trying to get in in 93, trying to make sure we got a first round bye. Emmett separated his shoulder. Now y'all need to understand it. Emmett separated his shoulder. And they patted him up, and he came back. He played with one arm. He caught the ball with one arm. He carried the ball with one arm. He willed us into the playoffs with a first-round bye because that's who Emmett is. So I'll take Emmett any day over Barry Sanders or any other running back. He was an absolute man.
That is just Emmett's character, though. He's just so driven back there. Back in the day, like nothing. Like if he had the choice, like if he can play with one leg, he'd still want to be on that field.
I can barely hear you guys. Something's going on.
Oh, are you okay there?
Can you hear us now?
Wait a minute. Let me see.
Yeah,
I can barely hear you.
Hello.
How you doing now, Lank? Oh,
hold up.
Yeah, all right, mate.
Okay, let me get a little closer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you in? Now, we was talking previously about the Vikings game. Where were you up to, Brian, on the last game we just played? How far along into it, or are you pretty much done?
I think we're pretty much done. I mean, we normally love to give the special teams guys a shout out, but I mean, like, we're up on an hour and 20 minutes. It's time to feed into the pre-game show. So I'm gonna throw the reins over to you and let you run with it.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, go on. Sorry.
Let me try going off and coming back on. Let me try that real quick.
Sure.
Yeah,
give me 1 second.
So obviously we'll continue on with the show. The first thing we'll hit then, guys, for the Thanksgiving show will be some news and updates. Now, I got a few to go through. Tell me what you think is probably the worst thing or best thing, whichever way you want to look at this. I've got some news coming in about some injury updates. But before we do that, I just want to give a shout out and get Barry's thoughts as well on this. I just need to give a shout out to Marcus Paul, the coach for the strength and conditioning coach. Now he had to get taken away by medical teams. Luckily, it's not the coronavirus, is what they mentioned, but they did cancel pretty
Can you hear
much everything that the entire day.
Okay,
So
good.
they had to cancel interviews, practice, the lot because of it. So I just want to give a shout out, obviously, to him, to Marcus Paul. To say, obviously, we hope that everybody's all right, everybody's safe, everybody's healthy. We never want to see coach or player ever have to get taken away by medical emergency services.
Yeah.
That was
a
very
crazy
ropey
situation.
Oh,
that was a crazy situation. They people were sending condolences.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I see that.
The Giants organization was too. They were doing some things. It's like
even Sports Illustrated confirmed he was like dead. It's like, no, he's not dead. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously that is our very first shout out, and to make sure he's doing safe, he's safe, he's healthy, all the rest of it. He's getting all the medical attention he needs. But going forward for this week's game, we do have confirmed that Anthony Brown is out with a rib injury.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and Bell, he was limited with a back. Greg Zerline came up as limited with a back injury as well. Tyler Biadasz, the rookie center, he has been officially put on as of yesterday. He was put on to IR with a hamstring injury. But because we always like to put things on the end of a happy note, Ezekiel Elliott, Brandon Knight, and Joe Thomas are all reported as healthy, and they are ready to go for tomorrow. So that's some good news, or for Thanksgiving game. Like I always say, like to try and put a happy spin on everything in some form or another. But let's look at tomorrow's game, guys. So, some good stuff going on. It is, of course, the Thanksgiving game. And there's no better way to hit this with a very old and deep rivalry with the Cowboys and the Washington football team. So I'm going to ask
who?
It is the Washington football team. Yeah, I'm being very careful. I just want to get your guys' initial thoughts on it all. What do you think? I know last time we played Washington, it wasn't a great outcome. But given the recent progression of the team, how do we think it's going to go? Totally different game?
Definitely, totally different game. Yep. Like we're on a momentum. We're finding our feet now. Our defensive line are now starting to like connect again. Like I said earlier, back in the defensive segment, and we're putting points on the board again. So and like we're saying about like Zeke and Tony Pollard, we're running the ball. It's a lot more positives than negatives going forward into this game. So, and whereas Washington, they're in a kind of similar situation. I think they've lost. Is it Kyle Allen? They've lost him for the year as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kyle Allen, the quarterback.
Yeah. So and I think Smith is doubtful. Like I don't know what's the situation with Alex Smith.
He's playing. He will be playing.
He's playing.
He's actually
is he playing? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, but Washington are in a kind of same predicament. I think they're in like kind of like what we were a couple of weeks ago. Like if anything, they're kind of going more downhill, and we're going uphill. So I think this should be a win for us, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Here's how you're going to tell how this game's going to go. When we're on offense, that front four, that front seven of the Redskins, or I'm sorry, of the Washington team. I mean, they didn't even put DC on the end of that thing. I mean,
I know people think they're from Oregon or something, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot to take away from the last game that we played, and a lot of people complain saying, "Oh, we flew all the way to Washington to go kick a field goal." Now, the good news is, well, I think
having trouble connecting. This is often caused by an unstable. You see that?
Yeah, we noticed that you kind of disconnected there.
We got you, lad.
If they get to us early and often, we're in trouble.
Yep,
definitely. Yeah. And I mean, the good thing is, I don't know what your thoughts and opinions are on this. That they made a bit of a shuffle on the O-line. They done it during the Vikings game. For me personally, I actually think that was a dress rehearsal to play against this D-line. I don't know what your feelings are on that.
I'd agree.
Yeah, especially when you've got Chase Young and Vontez Sweat on that defensive line. Like, let's be honest. Like, their defensive line, they've got some good talent now. They've got really good talent. And if there's one position that we are still kind of struggling to a certain extent, is our offensive line. So having like Zach Martin playing that tackle now, it does give me a bit more reassurance that we can put on a better performance. Like, and this is no disrespect to Terrence Steele. Like, he did okay for some games, but he did get caught out quite a lot, especially in the passing game. And in terms of like and when it comes to holding calls and all that type of stuff, I think it's a good move going forward, especially against this D line.
The Cowboys' offensive line is dealing with the second most QB pressures this season. There's an awful lot of pressures, coupled with with Washington having over three sacks a game. So, but obviously that was before we moved Zach Martin to tackle, which looks like a bit of a masterstroke just now. It's like you were saying, to do it before the Washington game, I think was a good move. I think if we can get Zeke going and Pollard going, it'll take an awful lot of pressure off the tackles, and it requires Dalton to do less as well. But it depends on us getting an early lead and staying balanced on offense.
See, to me, Zeke is the key to this whole thing. Zeke is old school. Zeke is a throwback. And I think what's blowing his mind this year is the fact that he doesn't have a reliable offensive line. So I think it's messing with him mentally. Okay?
Yeah.
He looked like he's on his way back. Last week he was really good. You know, they're trying to write him off and say he's done and all of this crap here, or he's lost the step. There's no way. He's still a young dog. He had some other things that was going on in his head, but I think not having that offensive line, that reliable offensive line, that dominant offensive line is messing with him mentally. So now he's got to readjust his game.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I still think the critics have been very, very harsh on Zeke. Very harsh.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to understand.
I mean, it's Zeke. They're going to be.
Well, you understand. Cowboys is the most loved, most hated team in the history of the earth. Okay.
That's what. Just so you know, this is a wee saying. Also, it's not just America's team; it's the world's team.
That's right. That's right.
That is true.
We've said it before as well. It's not as if this, like you said, when we've had this amazing offensive line for the last few years, and when some of them drop off, it's not as if it's like it's not a gradual drop off to say like somebody who's coming in and stepping in. It's a massive drop off, and there's just no way that Zeke was ever going to put up some big numbers when that offensive line was just so off its game. It was unbelievable. I mean, like you say, well, look how bad it was. I mean, we lost the starting quarterback. You know what I mean, just because of really poor offensive line play, and it's just like I say, there's just seems a bit more consistency last week that hopefully will put some confidence into him this week, and hopefully Zeke will have another big game like he had this week as well, and Pollard, not just Zeke but Pollard as well, because Pollard had a decent one last week.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, the run is going to be key in this, and the big difference from the way they played the previous game, and one of the big reasons they won is because they established that balance. They played Cowboys football.
There you go.
It's classic Cowboys football. They established the run, they had the balance, and everything flowed from that. They won the battles in the trenches. Everything is won and lost in the trenches when you bring it all back down to basics. That is where they need to go in this, because exactly like the gentleman said before, if they get behind early, they're going to have to start throwing the ball, and then it's going to be complete chaos. And their pass rush is going to have a field day. It's going to be an absolute onslaught out there. If they can establish the run and start spreading things out and start having less people committed to the box, however you do it, they need to protect Dalton. They need, which they did pretty well last time. They can establish the run with Zeke and Pollard. They can win this game. They showed they can win games with grit and determination last week. The defense won that game last week. They made the stop.
There you go. I like.
They've shown now that they have actually got the drive, and we've criticized them. And we've got to say now they won that because they wanted to win it. If they go out there and they want to win this game, they can win it. They just need to go out there and do it and win the battles in the trenches. And when they do that, it will make a big statement, and then you're going to start getting some real momentum when you beat Washington.
Grit and determination. I like those two words. That's what we didn't have starting the season off, okay? And I think we're starting to learn to dig deep and realize everybody wants to play against the Cowboys.
Yep. Everybody wants to beat the Cowboys. And like Simon just said, smash mouth football. Just hit them in the face. Hit them in the face. Keep hitting them in the face and keep going. And then you hit them on the right and then you hit them on the left. Find a weakness and punch your way through it. And you've still got, yes, we've lost players on the offensive line. You've still got Zach Martin. Stick Zeke up his backside and get him through. Job done.
Could this be the biggest test?
When everybody's shooting at you, every week, you got to go, wow, I'm going to have to play my A game every week.
Yep.
You know, because these guys want to beat me because I have this star on my chest. You can either go, wow, you know, that's, you know, damn, I can't believe everybody wants to beat me. Or you can go, that's right, everybody wants to beat me. So I have to go and do what I need to do. You know what I mean? I got to step my game up.
Oh,
so
man.
that's what this, you know, those guys going to have to start realizing. You know, every week is going to be a tough week. No matter if they think they're playing somebody if they're playing the Jets, it's going to be a tough week, no matter what.
Mr. Cromer, I'm just going to say this, but you're getting me absolutely pumped up for this game now. I'm not kidding, man. I am not
just kidding. Saying it with his chest, like, God damn, yes.
Let me tell you, man. Hey, I'm hoping, you know, I'm hoping that these guys can do it 3 weeks. Because see, check out the progression. We played a really, really good game against against Pittsburgh. Okay.
Despite we lost, we still actually put on a good performance.
We really showed up. Okay. And then we went out and we won us a game. And this week we got to put those 2 weeks together and beat the hell out of Washington. Okay.
Yes.
That's the kind of game we need to have. That's the kind of game we need to have. So hopefully we can put this thing together. And listen, until I talk to you guys, okay, and it took me talking to some guys from the UK to make this happen. Not my homeboy down the street. You know what I mean? I had to talk to you guys. I feel a little bit better about tomorrow.
There we go.
Honestly, test this all-line this week, just for the fact that Chase Young has hit the ground running. Chase Young has been immense this week. Now, could this be the biggest test that this all-line, as depleted as it is, could face this year? Yeah. And if they like, if you can shut him down tomorrow, it's pretty much a done deal that the Cowboys win.
Yeah, we got to keep our quarterback from getting killed. Our receivers are stepping their game up. That catch by 88 last week. Are you kidding me, man?
That was naughty. Yeah. That was
Are you kidding me? Just kind of talk about Lincoln. I don't know how much you kind of see over here.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Lincoln.
There was a couple of years ago when Odell Beckham kind of made that big catch against us, and the guys that run the league over here was loving it, and it was played week in, week out, constantly and repeat. And after that catch by CD Lamb this week, we've been asking them to play that, because a lot of us think that was an even better catch this week than what Beckham's one. It's like let's give some love to CD Lamb, because that catch was immense last week.
Yeah, definitely.
And then moving on, which is the next thing, which plays into the hands for the running back, is the last time we played Washington back in October. Our actual time of play during that game, right? And you can attest to this, Link. So you can say, yeah, this is why the game was so lopsided. That our time of play during that game was just barely 22 minutes.
That sucks.
Terrible.
That sucks. And if you're ever a team, especially playing your second quarterback, your backup quarterback, the last thing you want to do is be playing not just behind, but with no time on the clock. I mean, you think about it, that's barely over a quarter of play.
3 and out, punt, fumble, interception. Yeah, that's a terrible game.
Well, I mean, just to put that, talking about 3 and out, I mean, the Cowboys in that game, they were on third down, they were 3 for 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a quarter. And you're never going to do it. But the biggest issue behind it all was Dalton getting sacked. He was sacked 6 times in the game. So, I mean, if you're ever going to win a game, you need to keep the main man upright, is what I always say. And then his yards per pass ended up equating to 2.1 yards per pass.
Now, did you guys see or get a little bit of that Bengals Washington game last week?
Yeah, that was horrific.
They were flying around Burrow's legs all day.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
I was looking at the same thing. I was thinking, that is looking a little bit hefty on the old ACL joint down there.
Yeah.
They were around that boy. I'm talking about they were coming at him, man.
Yeah.
If I was Andy Dalton, get some knee braces on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needed a shield from Wakanda. Wakanda. He needed a Wakanda shield, man. He was getting hit, man. He was getting hit. And so that's what scares me this week.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough deal, man.
Man, it was horrible. That seeing that wee small clip, what happened to Joe. I know we're kind of going off topic talking about Cincinnati, but that was seeing that was more gruesome. What happened to Dak? Like it's the knee joint. The knee joint.
Yeah.
Like that knee is not supposed to bend. It's not supposed to bend at all. No chance.
Oh, his whole body went
back like that.
Giving me the heebie-jeebies thinking about that, man. Jeez.
I mean, it's that bad. They think he's out next year. So you think about this, that the next time Joe Burrow returns will be 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What made Dak's injury a lot more livable is that it was a clean break.
Yeah.
And not just a tear. A tear, an extreme tear. That takes forever to get back together, but a clean break, you can put it together and just let that thing, let your DNA, work on it, and really good stuff can happen quickly. But that knee, Burrow as a young kid, that was almost like Alex Smith, the guy we're going to play against.
Oh, that's right.
That's exactly
very true.
the way I felt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember, he was out for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way I felt.
You're right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, very not nice to watch at all, man.
So so I'm hoping that we leave a tight end in, you know what I mean, in the blocking scheme. Have the running backs do a lot of checks before they go out into the pass patterns. We're gonna have to make sure. I mean, I hate to show up the line like that and limit what we can do, but we're gonna have to do a couple of different things differently this week. A different type of game plan to come at them, and it's gonna have to start with us being on the ground.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to pound it.
Definitely. So this leads to my next question. How great do we all think Chase Young is going to become? I mean, we're seeing flashes of it right now.
Yeah, it's without a doubt, like his hand speed movement, his get offs are just ridiculous. That alone, and not to mention his readability of the play. Like he can actually move from a C gap to a B gap just like that. It's oh man. Like
I didn't think he could get better than the Watts boys and what's the other brothers that's in the league?
Bosas.
The Bosas, yeah.
The Bosas. This dude is unreal, man. You know what I mean? His get off, his strength, his speed, his hands, the way he can manipulate a tackle. He's like a freak, man. He's on another level.
Here's my if I was to put someone above, I say he's the next best version. I say he's much better than Myles Garrett right now. Much better.
I'm not sure on. Myles
Garrett. Myles Garrett is good. Like that's just a personal opinion.
Look at it. Look, who else is he talking about? Another Aggie. Don't ever mention
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Lincoln, just to fill you in, Mike is an Aggies fan. So
he's an Aggies fan.
Loves Aggies.
I'm up here.
You mean Texas Aggies?
Yeah. Texas Aggies. Loves Texas Aggies. You can't say anything wrong about the Texas Aggies around Mike.
I went to Baylor, man. I can't be an Aggies fan. I can barely hear you guys again. I don't know why the heck is doing this. Give me 1 second. Let me try it one more time.
No worries. Okay. No worries.
Just kind of touching back on Chase Young, and not to kind of bin off anybody else who comes into the league, but it just shows the kind of player he is to make the step up first from college to NFL. But and even the Washington fans will agree, they're a poor football team. He's the focal point of their defense, and he's still getting it done.
Yeah, and he's a rookie.
And that's how you can. That's how sometimes you kind of gauge it, don't you? Like saying, not to bag on anybody else, but like that. If he wasn't on their defense this weekend, you would pretty much just say this is pretty much foregone conclusion. That's probably the way that we're going to lose is if we can't contain Chase Young tomorrow.
It kind of reminds me back in the day, like when you're comparing all these different other teams and stuff. It reminds me when Tampa Bay drafted Bob Sapp. It's like he was the vocal point of that whole team for all those years. I think it's going to be the exact same way for Washington when it comes to Chase Young.
I think that's why we give Tank Lawrence so much heat, because you see Chase Young as the focal point of Washington's D-line, and he still gets the sack. He still gets the regular sack, but I think it's because they've got Montez Sweat on the other side, and they're getting sacks across the line. That the kind of maybe the focus slides a little bit. They can move guys around. Whereas if our D-line hasn't been performing well, you're going to look to the guy who makes the most amount of money, because that their guaranteed contract only draws a bullseye on them, when they're not playing well. So, with Chase Young doing so well, it's like it's early. Next season when people have tape on him, it's going to be the big test.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to help Kenny. He's really struggling to get into this show, and I'm talking to him, trying to get this organised. He keeps, for some odd reason, bopping in and out. So we will get it sorted. We're getting there slowly. We're whittling the issue down. But let's move on, guys, to the Cowboys defense. Much to everyone's, whenever you get to this point, everyone starts sucking their teeth and sucking in air. But would you agree that the defense, with the likes of the D-line coming along, Leighton Vander Esch looks much better. He's looking better. Safety, Donovan Wilson, we talked about earlier. Do you think perhaps this defense is on the up?
Yes.
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
No. Not with the secondary the way it is.
Okay.
Because, now, it's not going to count in this game because Washington have nothing at receiver. But secondary will cost us in other games because the quarterbacks are not doing enough and Wilson has no help at safety. He might as well be playing on his own because Xavier Woods is not doing anything this season.
Yeah.
What's your opinion, Barry, on this D line? What do you think?
Well, it's in the beginning, like you said, in the beginning of the year, I was excited about it, but a lot of things just fell off. It's puzzling too. What all of a sudden Alton Smith disappeared now? Like what's up? And and I think again, I'm just throwing my opinion out, but there's a lot of big question marks there, and I think they could have got some pretty good value moving him. I don't know why Jerry stuck, but all of a sudden he's kind of disappeared. So I don't. That's really puzzling. I have to ask Mary Broadus about that, but he hasn't. I mean, you don't hear his name mentioned at all now. Now Gregory, fortunately he stepped up, and of course D-Law, you don't hear his name a lot, but he's according to all the ratings, he's doing great.
Not to kind of sit on the fence and be that kind of guy, but kind of just to touch a little bit on what Bri said. It depends on what front seven turns up, because if the front seven turns up and is big dominant as hell, it looked like it was going to be last week, then it doesn't matter if me and you were in that secondary, then they were fine. But it just depends. If that front seven turns up that turned up last week, then yeah. If it don't, then shit. Then we just don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that there, Jamie, like with regards to, and you just brought it up there, Barry, as regards to Alden Smith. It's like, like us all we talked about within the first 3 weeks of the season was Alden Smith, standout player. Yeah, it's great. But I think because now all the other players are stepping up, they are now taking the thunder away, so to speak. Like don't get me wrong, I've watched the game film and Alden's still doing a great job. He's still he's still putting pressures. He's still forcing the left or the right tackle back into the backfield and getting the QB pressures on the quarterback. But we're just not talking about it. It's the media's. They always talk about the sacks, the loss for yards and all that stuff. But and it's the person who tackles them. And we're seeing it from different players. We're getting it from Donovan Wilson. We're getting it from, Antoine Woods. We're getting it from that's a person we've not even mentioned yet as well, is Antoine Woods. Big shout out to him. My boy Neville Gallimore and obviously Randy Gregory. They're all starting to come out of that element and that. This is what I'm so excited right now because as a former D lineman myself. It's like this is what I expect now. It's like we weren't doing that before when we had the Drifters who were part of the team. Now they're gone. Names that I will not mention again, I promise. But it seems like since now had that ballast and they're now all rising up to the equation.
Yeah,
completely agree.
I mean, you're excited about your guy, Bet Gallimore there. I know you're excited about him.
Oh, man, Barry, honestly, I've been raving about Neville Gallimore.
I know, since March.
Oh, no, before March.
January,
man. Honestly, I've been raving about him for ages, man. Honestly. I just could not believe we managed to get him in the third round, honestly.
When we were doing the draft shows in January onwards, Barry, Paul wanted to draft Gallimore in the first round.
I did.
At 19.
Legit. At 19. Neville Gallimore at 19. I did not give a F about that.
No, that's great because that's something we haven't had for. I wish back in when I'm trying to think of one guy a couple years was drafted. I thought we just got to get a load up there like a Will Wolford. We haven't had anybody like that in ages. I always thought we just, I've said for years, we just need to shore up that D line.
Do you know what though, Barry? You touched on it, and I think that's why a lot of us got kind of excited when Poe and that came in because we've missed that nasty run stuff for years.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we need one.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Barry, you made a good point there, and I've been kind of being shy about saying this for the last couple of weeks in terms of Alden Smith and not showing up in the numbers. And I do accept what Paul is saying, you know, in terms of he is still having impact. But it did bring me back. You mentioned the other name, Broada, saying this. You know, it seems to be a similar story to Robert Quinn last season in that the numbers just seem to be fading off now at this stage. So is he a guy you would bring back? Or would you look to say, look, let's see what you can get elsewhere?
Yeah, I think if they were going to do something, I think they missed it. I think they could have got something. I think, some big, maybe a higher draft pick for. But now that he did fall off as far as and again, his play hasn't really felt. Like you all said, it's just his sacks. Like everybody looks at the sexy part, and the sacks aren't there. But at the end of the day, with him and Gregory and D-Law, just keeping those guys fresh. I mean, defense obviously is playing better. So at the end of the day, the wins are what's going to count anyway. That the sacks or the touchdown pass, whatever it is, the wins are the most important. So if we can put those together, that's the most important.
It's like I'm going to throw in a little quote, and Graham might hate me for this because it's based on a soccer quote by a former Scottish manager called Jock Stein. It's like, right, so it doesn't matter how many goals you score as long as you score more than the other team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in terms of American football, it doesn't matter how many touchdowns you score as long as you score more than the other team. So, I just wanted to throw that in there. But I've actually got a question on our comments here on YouTube again from Simon. He's asking, is it not time to cut ties with Sean Lee? He barely plays year in, year out lately due to injuries. I mean, it's a great question. Guys, what do you guys think?
No, because you've seen Sean Lee come back in and our defense has improved. It's not a coincidence. You've seen Jalen have to do less. Van Der Esch has come back in as well. So by having one of our defensive captains back in there, it almost seems to have steadied the ship a little bit, and you have seen performances raise on defense. I mean, let's not forget we were horrible on defense when Sean Lee was out. Now we're still in games at the middle of the fourth quarter, and we have the opportunity to go and win. And that's partly down to because Sean Lee has come back in. So you don't get rid of players that have come in and made a difference for you. Not yet, anyway.
I totally agree, Graham. I'm a big Sean Lee fan. He's a class act. He's just such a great, really nice guy, and he knows the game. He's like Tony Romo announcing a game. He just, he gets 42 tackles in a game because he studies the film and he's just a student of the game. I mean, just a total pro. He's a total pro, and he learns the game inside out. And it's so sad that if it wouldn't be for he's a definite Hall of Famer if it wouldn't be for all those injuries. I mean, he just has a nose for the ball.
Was it the 2015 season or was it 2014 season where he did his ACL?
2014.
Yeah, and that was the year when he was supposed to come to London, and that's where we got to meet yourself, Barry. But if Sean Lee was playing that season, who knows what could have happened? Who knows?
Yeah.
I think it's more of managing what Sean Lee can do. It's like you said, during the week, it's like he needs to be wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
As sad as it sounds, it's kind of true.
I mean, you guys will remember years ago when we moved DeMarcus Ware to a third down pass rusher, and his stats started rising again because we used him less, but he had a far bigger impact on the game. That's what's happening with Sean Lee. He's not in there every play, but when we need him to, he's more than likely to make a play for us when he is on the field.
Yeah.
Graham touches it there, in terms of, like you say, it's not just what he does. It's what he does to everybody else. He makes Phillip and Van Der Esch better. He makes Jalen Smith better. Like I say, just his presence on the sideline just boosts the confidence of those players. And I know you don't keep people around for that, but like I say, if you can wrap him in cotton wool during the week and get him 10, 15 snaps a game, maybe it's just it brings that thing for you.
Simon just made a really good comment there. Like, I know we're not talking about like soccer teams and stuff like that, but in terms of like Sean Lee is now that type of guy now. Like, he can pass in so much knowledge, and we saw that on Van Der Esch's rookie season, especially how he connected with Jalen and Van Der Esch that whole season. Like, that linebacker core were tight, proper tight. Like, like us all we kept raving about is like, all three of them could have made the Pro Bowl if they wanted to. And I think and that when it comes to that comment, but what Sean Lee does deliver is teaching all these linebackers, and like I said, even the guys in the practice squad or whatever, that it's like, be sure you're studying yourself, go and watch your game film, learn from your mistakes, just like forget about the last previous play. Like, it's all about the mental warfare within your own mind. Like, I know when I played right, if I made a bad play, I'd get myself worked up and get myself in a bit of a strop. But my coaches would always tell me to say, it's like, forget about that last play, just learn from your mistakes and move forward. The play's done with it.
Do you know what? You touch it, you're totally right, Paul. And it kind of stems back to a little bit what Lincoln was talking about earlier, in terms of these guys want to shape themselves into what they want to be in the NFL, but don't get away from what the Cowboys be. Like, the Cowboys used to have nasty defenses, had awful defenses. Nobody wanted to play against them. Now, you want to be that person that you want to be. For instance, you want to be in that Ring of Honor with some of them guys. You know what I mean? So you kind of try and learn from what they did in the past and bring it to this, but add your own twist into it. I know it's easy to say it, but like you say, you just gotta. This team was notorious for nasty defenses, and we've lost that edge in the last couple of years. And like you say, that's why it's good to have them guys there who were in it, like people like the Charles Halers and all that kind of thing, like Ken Norton Jr., that kind of thing. Just to give them that bit of, this is what Cowboys defense was.
Yeah, I mean, look across our starting defense in terms of contract. Our whole secondary is on its first contract. Yeah, Leighton Van Der Esch is only into his second year. Half our defensive line is still on their first contract. So to put a Sean Lee figure in there, it raises the experience levels, and I'd like to see how, in terms of league wide, how young the Cowboys defense is, because I bet it's up. Because it's a very, very young team. We don't have a lot of studs on defense. You know, two of our starting corners are in the last year. Obviously, we've got Donovan Wilson. He's still in his first contract. We've talked about Van Der Esch. Gallimore's just come in. Tank Lawrence is only a couple of years into his second contract, so it's still very, very young.
Yeah, I mean,
not to jump on it, is Jalen Smith technically still not on his first year as well? Just for I know he signed his new deal, but would it?
No, he's on his second.
Yeah, I know he's signed, but I'm not sure if it.
Don't forget Randy Gregory. Don't forget his contract situation. He's still technically on his rookie contract.
Still on his rookie contract.
Because he's not played those two those years, they still get passed on to now. Yeah. So we still got him for about another 2 years at least.
2 years.
Yeah. Till the end of next season.
Second round.
So there you go.
Rich, jump in there. You're dying. You're itching to get in.
This question of Sean Lee has been getting asked year on year for at least the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Since 2014, when he came back in, there were stats and they showed that how big a difference it made when he was on the field compared to when he was off the field. And those stats, I dare say, have not changed that much. The difference he makes when he's on the field, because of everything that everyone has said, because he studies the film. He knows what's going to happen. He has all this knowledge. He knows what's going to happen. He's there. He's to make a play. He's the kind of player that you keep on your team, even though he has those injury troubles, because you know when he is on the field, he is going to make a difference, whether it's with a direct splash play or without it. So you need to follow on from the question. You need to then ask yourself the question, is it worth getting rid of him when for the last 6 years he's been doing that? He's been in exactly the same situation the past 6 years. This isn't just a recent thing. This is a long period of time he's been like this. He's been injury prone.
It's all very well
with the team.
He's one of the old guard, isn't he? You know, it's all very well saying, should we get rid of Sean Lee?
That is a brilliant term, Graham. But the old guard, that is perfect. Yes.
No one's talking about getting rid of Tyron Smith because we don't have a replacement for Tyron Smith. It's the exact same as Sean Lee. You can clear them out and you can get rid of their contract, but who are you bringing in?
Exactly.
Yeah. You can get another linebacker. You can sign another linebacker. You can draft another linebacker. You cannot find another Sean Lee just like that.
Hell no.
It will not happen.
Just to touch on what you say, Rich, and also what Graham says. When the Sean Lee era eventually comes to an end, the biggest mistake that this Cowboys organization will make is not putting him on the coaching staff.
He should already be there.
He should be.
Sean Lee will be a coach. Sean Lee will be a coach. You can see it in the way he is. He'll be a coach.
Great point. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think Sean Lee, it's already kind of proven that when he's not actually on the actual football field, when he's on the sideline, he is literally coaching pretty much. Because we saw that in the All or Nothing TV series a couple of years ago, and we saw that there, and we saw that when he took even that season just there, he had this the Windows Surface monitor telling Van Der Esch you can tell by the TV screens he is literally teaching simple football mechanics and just position skills. Just I really do hope he becomes a coach for us, man. I really do, because I think he can be very vital going forward.
Do you know, just kind of touching on that a little bit more, you can kind of tell sometimes the kind of person stroke player that someone is. Like you say, that he doesn't play, but he's on the sideline and he's giving advice to these young linebackers. And then you take it back to when Tony went down. Tony didn't spit his dummy out and go, "I've lost my job." He was there. He was giving Dak advice. He was, and that's what you want. You know what I mean? And they're the kind of players you need to surround this team. You don't want these. I play for myself. It's like, right, I can't play this week, or I've been benched because I'm playing crap, but I'm still going to sit there and I'm going to go to, I don't know, say like a Connor Williams, right? Look, this is what we've seen. This is what you want to do. You know what I mean? And guide them, because essentially these guys play well. But you still and you win a Super Bowl, you're going to get a Super Bowl ring because you've been part of that roster.
Yeah. So just another comment from our friend Simon, who's watching on YouTube. Big shout out to Simon. I just hope he can play a full season injury-free, as you guys have said. He is an awesome player and leader. Yeah, we totally agree, mate. We totally agree.
That last word in that sentence is why he's still here.
Yeah, and there we go. Simon Morris,
team guy,
team man, leader of men. Yeah,
that's the thing with Sean, though. We've said throughout the season, you're not going to get 16 games from Tyron Smith anymore. You're not going to get 16 games from Sean Lee. It's as simple as that. It's about utilising Sean Lee. Now, you're not going to throw him in as a starter every game.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
But obviously, sticking with the Cowboys defense, right, guys? I'm going to get your opinions on all of this. On the Washington offense, Alex Smith starting at quarterback. Who's the guy that you think will threaten on the offense, the Cowboys defense the most? So you got, Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, who's coming on great at the moment. Who's scaring us most on defense at the moment?
Gibson. Yeah, he's absolutely. Yeah, it's the run game. It's the run game. Yeah. But I'm definitely feeling more confident with this week compared to the last game. And I'm sorry, Brian, I'll let you in a wee second. But I think that the promise before is like we had the dead wood in that previous game. Now we've got the re-energized defensive line. They can actually now hold the middle a lot more effectively now. So it'll be very interesting to see. But I still will say Gibson is going to be the biggest threat.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think because I don't think Washington's running. I'm sorry. Go ahead, but Brian.
No, go for it, Barry. You're the main man. You go for it.
You're a special guest, my man.
You guys are. I think. I think you're right with Gibson. I think he's coming on, but I don't think Washington. I think all their other games, I think they're less than 100 yards rushing. Of course, against us, they gashed us. They did what they do, like 200 and 200 plus. It's like, oh my gosh. So, but I think you're right. I think they're playing a little bit more inspired now in the defense, and I think Gibson is probably the guy to worry about. And Alex Smith still worries me a little, but even though last week he didn't go so good. So,
yeah, for Washington. For the Washington pregame show. Sorry, but I'm so fired up.
Guys, I've actually got a good question here from Mr. Austin Powers. Shag you very much.
Thank you.
Aren't both of their running backs questionable for tomorrow? Oh, interesting.
I know they've got 6 players.
Yeah.
I know they got 6 players out questionable. Una momento, por favor. I will let you know. They have. They do. Love is questionable. Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking over so Graham can't talk. No. No, Bryce Love is questionable. He's questionable at the moment with a knee issue. But let's give Graham the line. He's been itching to talk, so let's let him hit it.
I feel under pressure now. I remember for Washington pregame, I said in terms of fantasy, start Antonio Gibson because he's going to run all over us. Yeah. This week, not so sure. Because if our defensive line can hold up, in terms of Alex Smith, I don't know if he's the threat that he used to be. They don't really have much in terms of receiving. J.D. McKissick was actually their second highest receiver against the Bengals. So if it's not McLaurin, I don't know who else it is. So if we can focus on defending the run against Washington, like you say, they have 2 above average running backs. I mean, I'm going to start Gibson in the UK Cowboys league because I'm thin at running back. But it's not. I don't think it's going to be the whitewash that we saw the last time.
No. But go on.
This should be a brilliant game.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm personally going with Glock just for the fact.
Ooh, Jamie's switching it up.
Only because
I get the Cowboys minus 2.5.
I've got McLaughlin in my fantasy team, and he's been putting up numbers this year.
He has been.
Yeah. But shut him down, chase him down. The game's a foregone conclusion.
Right. So here's one for you then, right, guys? Before we move on to the final section that we've got here. Give me, and everybody watching at home as well.
Get your comments in. Your comments in.
Tell me what you think the final score will be. Now, I'll let everyone have a think. Let that stew over.
Mike, I've actually got our first comment in with regards to that. It's Mr.
Okay.
Give me 1 wee second. It was a wee while ago. I asked it earlier. And it was from...
I want to hear Brian get his point off his chest. He waited long enough.
Go on then, Brian. What are you going to hit us with before we give that final scores out?
We actually have a private chat here that we do whilst we're in the program, and I've just sent it to Graham. He actually made my point for me.
All right.
I was going to say, leading on from Paul's point, the defensive line is going to be stronger this week. They're going to shut down to some extent the run game, so that makes Scary Terry more of a threat for me. because Smith's not going to hit him for long bombs, but he's going to hit him for 10, 15 intermediate routes, and he'll catch them. And if he catches them, he could get away from our secondary because our corners are gash.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's why
three weeks
I'm
ago,
scared of Terry.
3 weeks ago, I would have said, let's have Trevon Diggs cover McLaurin. I don't know who it's going to be now.
Yeah,
that's the thing. There's kind of a step back at corner and in the secondary now. So, yeah, McLaurin's not to be taken lightly.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go around the wheel. We'll get the final score predictions from you all. I will kick us off, and I'm really sticking it to Washington football team because I was that sour about the last score. So I'm going to say that the score's reversed. Cowboys 23, Cowboys 25, Washington football team 3.
Wow! Damn!
That's where it's going. That's where it's going. That's where it's going. That's where it's going.
Mate, how much whiskey have you had?
I've had a few Kool-Aids.
I'm texting Rian to get a drug test on you.
Has there been a trade for the Watt brothers that I don't know about?
So you're saying 25-3. So we've now got Austin Powers coming in with his comment. He's thinking 23-10. So he's not far off from you, Mike. Yeah. As long as we can have the score first and protect Dalton reasonably well, have LVE Redway back in the huge for us. Defense should show up. And from Simon, 24-10. So we're actually so everything's kind of like so far so good. Everyone's been in the same ballpark right now. So that's pretty good.
In the ballpark.
Yeah,
so I'll start us off then. I tell you what, Barry's the guest, so he gets to go first. All right. What's your score prediction then, Bar?
I'm going with 24-20 the boys.
24-20. Okay.
All right then. And then we'll go around the house. So we'll start with you, Brian.
21-17.
21-17. All right then. Go on then, Gray.
Stole my thunder. 21-17 Cowboys.
Shut up! No way!
That is pretty fun.
Oh, and Simon's came in with his for 1916.
Great
Go
year,
on, Rich. Yeah, give me yours, Rich.
31-21.
Ooh. Paul?
Right, you know how close I was from the last game.
Yeah.
And you all laughed at me. You all laughed at me about
Mike, what was my score? Mike, what did I say? Mike, what did I say?
Yeah.
What was the score, Mike? What did I
say? I am going to say 35-24 Cowboys.
I was going to say that, but I dialed it back.
All right, and Jamie?
34-10 Cowboys.
What?
Say again. Say again, Jay.
34-10.
34-10. Woofed! My man!
Okay. Now,
I like Jamie's best.
We move on to the last section, which is a nice, easy one.
Yep.
Which is basically we look then at the fantasy production and numbers. And what you got to do, guys, is I've got the numbers written down. I'm going to go round the house on this. I give you the fantasy score production numbers that they're predicted to score. If they're going to score what they're predicted to score or more, then say boy, oh boy. If they're going to score less, then it's oh boy. And it's as easy as that. Okay. But before we do that, I'm going to take a big bite out of my massive turkey leg.
Feed Mike. Feed Mike. Feed Mike.
I have a turkey leg. It's been sat here, just moistening up.
That is stone cold.
Moist.
It's still warm. It's still warm.
Hashtag moist.
Being sat on it.
What's that, 2.25 hours?
Well, that was very nice. I'm feeding turkey to Mike, and I'm always eating.
What is it with this season and food?
I know, yeah. We've had the pizza.
What?
Mike,
now it's the
chocolate
turkey leg
for dessert.
More turkey legs.
Chocolate pudding, Rich, get it out.
Oh, don't stop.
You know why it's warm. You know why it's warm, don't you? You've been sat on it.
Barry, so you're not aware, our good friend Rich has a love-hate relationship with chocolate pudding.
It's a hate relationship.
Tell the story, Rich.
Nah,
Tell
we'll
us
tell it later.
like
We'll tell it later. We'll tell it later.
Everyone in the comments is trying to know now.
Everyone.
We'll save it for the end of the season.
That's a good one, Rich. That's good, actually. I like that.
It's quite nice, actually.
Chocolate pudding is rich.
I'm enjoying this bit of turkey, lad. I might just like sit here and eat this and leave you guys talking. Anyway, no. Let's get into it before I end up actually eating that. Because they say turkey gives you, there's some chemical in it that makes you fall asleep, and I don't want to be falling asleep on you. Right. Okay.
Who says that?
Barry.
What?
You are?
Who says
You've
that?
never heard this. Google it. Right? Google it after the show. That in turkey meat, there's something in turkey meat, and it's a natural chemical in our body, and it makes you want to sleep.
Mike,
Is that not just called having a full stomach?
We're gonna change your name to Fuller Shit.
That's brilliant. That's a drop right there.
Right then.
That's the moment of the season.
Barry, I'm going to let you go first, right?
Okay.
Andy Dalton. He is predicted against the Washington football team on this Thanksgiving. He's predicted to score 15 fantasy points. Is that a boy, oh boy, or an oh boy? And I'm going to eat some more turkey.
I was going to say a boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to make note, so I can do this with Barry. It's in. Okay.
Just when Paul asks later.
Right.
Mike finishes the turkey leg. Oh boy, or oh boy, oh boy.
That was amazing.
That would be an oh boy. I'll tell you that's an oh boy. All right then. Brian, I'm just going to go round in order. Alex Smith, 16 fantasy points.
Oh boy.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yep, I agree.
Graham, Zeke, 14 fantasy points.
Boy, oh boy. Good grief. Yeah, boy, oh boy, because they're going to have to get away from the pass rush. So that's the best way to do it. And judging by the 1-2 punch we provided last Sunday, there's every chance it's a lot higher than that.
Okay.
Don't worry, Mike. We'll wait while you just polish off that leg. That's
I'm literally biting off more than I can chew. Right.
Don't fall asleep on us now.
Yeah, I'll try. Rich, Amari Cooper, 13 fantasy points.
Boy, oh boy.
It's a good secondary we're up against. Let's not forget.
Not bad.
I know, but I'm just fanboying at this point.
Okay.
Have you seen where my fantasy team is?
Paul, I'm giving you Terry McLaurin with 16 fantasy points.
Sorry, Jamie, I don't care about your fantasy team. I'm saying, oh boy.
Oh boy. Dalton Schultz, Jamie, 9 fantasy points.
Ooh.
Oh, that's quite generous for tight end, actually.
Very much so.
That means he has to get a touchdown.
It's always a shot.
So you're talking about maybe 30 yards and a touchdown at least, or 60. Like, even if he gets 90 yards, like that's still quite big for a tight end. But 30 yards and a touchdown, that matches the 9 points. But that's still quite generous from NFL.com to give that. Jesus Christ. Jeez, oh, Mike.
Oh boy.
Oh!
Back to you, Barry.
I like that, Jamie.
Back to you, Barry. CD Lamb, 12 fantasy points.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So I got I got 3 guys left. Who wants to take them? Hands up. Who wants the next one? Okay, Paul. Dallas defense, 6 fantasy points.
That's the poison chalice.
Yeah.
No, it's no, not anymore. Don't the finisher.
This goes wrong. I'm blaming you.
You will be hounded, Paul.
So much turkey leg.
So little time, Mike. Give me the number.
6.
Six.
Give it a bite.
6. Oh, you boy, man. Come on.
I'm going to do this by holding it. Okay, boy, oh boy.
What is this show
Big
become?
as your head, Mike.
Nah, not eating anymore. Not eating anymore.
Too much pig.
Who wants the next one?
Jamie,
Go for
Paul.
it.
Jamie.
Go for Jamie.
Jamie, and you can have the last one, Greg. Jamie, Logan Thomas, the Washington football team tight end, is looking to score 7 fantasy points.
I'm going to base this just off my score prediction, and I'm going to go, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Crazy
Graham,
week. Tight end
Graham,
for NFL.
the Washington defense is 6.
Sorry, Gray.
Okay, I'll have a little bit more turkey while we're waiting.
Yeah.
I think that's on. To me, I think that's on the line, Graham. I think.
Yeah, it's a good secondary. It's a great D line. I'm gonna go boy oh boy.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let me just move this. Right, so I made those notes, which I will post up after the game tomorrow.
And when you consider that at kickoff they're at 10, so if they can keep the score down, that's at least 10, and then
That's the problem. That's the problem when you try to estimate the defense. It's like if the more points against you, it brings everything down. But I really do think with the Dallas defense, it's like this is a game that we can actually capitalize in right now.
Agree. Yeah, definitely.
Can I just throw another one in there, Mike? Just
Yeah.
off the cuff. Andy Dalton will not throw an interception this week.
Oh, that's a bet.
that.
Hot
Oh, we have
take.
hot takes now.
Right, okay. Everyone is watching this right now in the comments. Do you think Andy Dalton will throw an interception? Yes or no? Get the comments in right now.
We've opened the can of worms now.
Barry,
That is right.
Barry, what do you think? Andy Dalton interception or no interception?
You know, gosh, I'd have to say probably because this defense, the defensive line is going to give him some pressure. So,
He's not wrong.
even though I'm a big Andy fan, I think he's, I think he'll be right the rest of the year. We'll see. But I'd have to probably go with at least one anyway.
Yeah, the Washington have only allowed 197 receptions this entire season. That's third in the league. So there's every opportunity for them to turn it over.
Yeah, that is true.
I think there will be one interception. Sorry, Brian.
Can I give a hot take?
Go on then.
No.
I like a hot take.
Donovan Wilson's going to have an interception.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Right, everyone. Right, Donovan Wilson. Interception or no interception?
Boy, oh boy.
Simon with the tilt pass.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
I'll
want
take
Like
it.
a sit on the fence kind of answer that.
If Andy Dalton doesn't throw an interception, then our good boy Brian, as soon as he's a Man United fan, has to sing "March On Together" live on air next time we're on.
Right.
You know that's never happening.
Right. I've got my hot take, and I've been wanting to say this all year. Is my boy Neville Gallimore is going to get his first full-on sack.
I knew you were going to say that straight away.
How about it? How
I
about
think
this
you're
then?
right.
Take it
Neville
one step
Gallimore,
further.
sack or no?
No. Take it one step further. What about Neville Gallimore gets his first strip sack?
No. Just simple sack.
I feel like you're not pushing it far enough. But
wait! Before you go, mate, we've got a counter proposition here from Mr. Austin Powers himself. LVE to get a sack.
He is playing well right now.
That is a good shout, Mr. Powers. Good shout.
Yeah. But listen, we are over the allotted time. Mainly because we had a lot to talk about, some technical issues, and we do apologise with Kenny Gant. We spoke extensively with him trying to solve his issues. We finally solved them, but we are at the end of the line here. But listen, Barry,
we will get him back on. We'll
reschedule him and we'll bring him back.
Yeah. We'll definitely sort him out because we've got to get him on just to do the shark dance, if anything. But what I was going to say is I think we definitely need to make UK Cowboys TV tradition that when it comes to Thanksgiving, we don't schedule any special guests in apart from Barry Griffith from Cowboys Experience. So every year, you will be our special guest for Thanksgiving.
You guys are too nice.
Because it's all about family. It's all about
family. All about family, friends, and football, and fermented alcohol.
Well, we appreciate y'all for sure. There's no doubt, and love you guys, and y'all have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving with you and the families as well. So
of course, man.
It was fun. I really appreciate it.
No, it goes without saying, and everybody watching as well at home, whether you're in the UK, anywhere across the world, and particularly the United States, have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the football, enjoy the family, enjoy the fun. There is now only 2 games. One of the game after the Cowboys, the Steelers and Ravens, is being postponed to Sunday due to COVID.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Thank you, Simon, for that lovely comment. Thank you, Simon, for that lovely comment.
You can come back anytime.
And we thank everybody who joined us as well throughout the show. But for the Thanksgiving special, even with all the hitches and technical issues and all the rest of it, from myself, and I'm going to go around the wheel here, from Brian, Graham, Rick, Paul, Jamie, and our special guest, Barry Griffith, and we thank you for joining us. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you have as much fun as us lot did. And we will see you on the other side, guys. Post-game show coming Tuesday,
9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Be there.
There it is. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Take care.